anyone remember voting for this?
We've got thousands of people chanting "Starmer is a wanker" in a nightclub. It's absolutely brilliant to see. And as I said,
in the heart of England's most cherished tradition, something broke. But it wasn't a goal that sent shockwaves through the crowd. It was a name. Mid-match, thousands of football fans turned their chants toward politics. Not in celebration, not in support, but with a sharp, unmistakable insult directed right at Kamama. No one was debating tactics or arguing about referees. This was something else entirely. It wasn't just loud banter or a momentary outburst. It was focused fury, raw, deliberate, and erupting in one of the last places still free from political spin. In football, people speak exactly what they feel, exactly when they feel it. And this time, the game didn't stop for politics. It ran right through it.
In an election, things don't go back to zero. You start off where the other lot left off. And we've had to do some really difficult things because they didn't take the difficult decisions in office. It's forced us to take those difficult decisions in office. But now, when you see the results of the spending review and how we're prioritising children, children's future, and the future of the economy so that kids get into an economy which actually is thriving, and we're doing the trade deals, so when kids are creating their jobs...
So when tens of thousands raised their voices and threw an unfiltered message at Starmer, it wasn't about disrespect. It was about honesty. That raw outburst cut deeper than any carefully crafted line in Parliament ever could. Because when lifelong Labour supporters, people who once believed, once hoped, start cursing their own leader, it's more than just frustration. It's something breaking, something that goes beyond politics, beyond party loyalty. It's trust, lost. Not long ago, Labour felt alive. Say what you want about Jeremy Corbyn, but the movement had a heartbeat, driven by young activists, union workers and everyday people desperate for change. Then came Starmer, and instead of fueling that momentum, he smothered it with slogans and scripted statements. The fire was replaced with formulas. The soul traded for strategy.
Since he's come into power, he's made so many promises that he's broken. He promised he wouldn't raise taxes. He did. He said he
No, he didn't. He said he wouldn't raise income tax.
I'm sorry. OK. No, what about the national insurance? He's raised that.
Tax for working people.
Yes, taxes for working people. I'll let you speak, let me speak.
But the national insurance tax was on employers, not employees, and that was the loophole.
It has a knock-on effect on employees, as we see now, because lots of people are going to be losing their jobs and companies are going to close. OK, he promised he wouldn't raise taxes for working people. He did. He said he would keep the pensioners' fuel allowance, which he has not. He said he would cut tuition fees and he would scrap the two-child benefit scheme. He hasn't done that. He said he would build a new relationship with businesses. He shafted businesses big time, and many of them are now closing. He has lied about every single thing he promised. He scrapped the 28 billion Green Deal. He said he was going to abolish universal credit. He hasn't. He said he was going to stop the boats. He hasn't. He doesn't have an immigration plan. This guy lies for a living. And anyone, you say he's got integrity.
Yeah,
he doesn't have a scrap of integrity. If he had a scrap of integrity, he wouldn't have his clothes and his glasses bought by one of Labour's biggest donors. It's outrageous. He's a rich guy. Why does he have to have other people buy his clothes? His government is a shambles. He has no judgment.
He came in promising unity. He called himself the grown-up in the room. But what Britain got was an empty suit behind a podium, reciting lines crafted by PR teams and tested in focus groups. The rallies vanished. The passion faded. And in its place came lifeless speeches, billionaire endorsements, and slogans that sound like they belong on a cereal box. This wasn't progress, it was erasure. The same working-class voices that once roared for Labour are now turning away in the most visible way possible. Not because they've switched to the Tories, but because they feel betrayed. The man who once knocked on their doors asking for trust is now seen as the one who traded that trust for corporate approval. That chant, the one ringing out through stadiums, isn't just profanity. It's pain. It's the sound of betrayal, finally spoken aloud. Starmer said he'd lead. But to the fans shouting from the stands, he's not a leader. He's a stranger in a custom suit, pretending to care about a struggle he's never truly known. I can't say it. I can't look at it. I can't smell it. I can't touch it. I can't draw it. I can't build a cult around it. Do you know what that is? That's what Starmer has become. He wants to seem relatable, but the harder he tries, the more disconnected he looks. His everyman image doesn't land because people can smell the script a mile away. He doesn't joke. He doesn't banter. He doesn't radiate any genuine warmth. Watching him try to bond with everyday people Feels like watching a tax lawyer do stand-up. Awkward, stiff, and painfully off-key. He speaks in policy memos while the rest of the country speaks in pubs. He shows up at football games but doesn't feel the energy. He tweets about the working class but struggles to hold a real conversation with them. His words are polished but hollow, like a speech rewritten 15 times and delivered by someone who doesn't even believe it. And that's why the chant hit so hard. Not because of the word itself, but because of what it exposed. People aren't just tired, they feel pushed out. They can see through the act. They know when someone's faking it. And they know when a man walks into their space trying to blend in with a borrowed accent and a rehearsed frown. Starmer didn't just lose their vote, he lost their respect. And once that's gone, no slogan can bring it back. The chant didn't stay in the stadium. Within hours, it was everywhere, clipped, shared, and exploding across TikTok, X, Instagram. It reached more people than any perfectly crafted Labour ad ever could. The media tried to minimise it. Some acted like it didn't happen. Others brushed it off as just rowdy fans. But fans know exactly what they're doing. This wasn't about football, this was about fury. Raw, unfiltered, and finally too loud to ignore. And as Starmer's team scrambled to distance themselves, to spin it, to pretend it was nothing but crude noise, they completely missed the point. Every time someone tries to sweep it aside, it only grows louder. Because when the press edits out the public's anger, the people find their own megaphone.
We have to make the case for freedom of movement. Freedom of movement has gone and it's not coming back.
Isn't it really early in your term of office for that level of unpopularity?
Let's have a look at the legacy media reporting on Keir Starmer getting called, I'm going to have to use the word here, forgive me, Father, for the profanity. This is 7,000 England fans calling Keir Starmer a Bearing in mind, in my country, that's not considered that rude.
Last night, an anatomical word, which I can't use on Sunday morning.
I can't.
This wasn't just a PR disaster, it was a reckoning. And no matter how many press secretaries try to contain it, they can't bottle something this raw. Starmer's handlers might want to wish this moment away, but it's already seared into the public's memory. A leader who doesn't inspire, doesn't fight, and doesn't listen should expect silence. But instead, Starmer got a roar, not from journalists, not from MPs, but from the very crowd he thought he could charm with a staged appearance. Starmer's fall from grace didn't happen overnight. It happened promise by promise. Bold pledges made loudly, then abandoned quietly. He vowed to support workers, then turned his back on the unions. He claimed he'd fight for the vulnerable, yet backed policies that left them worse off. Time and again, he said one thing and did another, and voters noticed. You can't claim to stand with the people while cracking down on strikes. You can't promise fairness and stay silent while disabled citizens fight for basic dignity. And you certainly can't earn trust when your moral compass shifts with every new poll. So when fans hurled a slur, it wasn't about shock, it was about exhaustion. It was the boiling point after years of watching a man pretend to care, only to deliver more of the same. That chant was their way of saying, we gave you a chance, you failed, and we won't let you forget it. For a politician who built his image on being careful, calculated and clean, this moment cuts deep. Because no media training in the world can teach you how to win back people who feel betrayed. And no leader survives once the punchlines start writing themselves. What's happening in the stands isn't chaos, it's clarity. In a country where Parliament feels distant and political debates feel staged, football crowds have become the last honest jury. No spin doctors, no PR filters, just the raw voice of the people, roaring back at those who stopped listening. And Starmer, he walked into that arena with a polished image and walked out with a broken illusion. He's used to environments where questions are screened and backlash can be dodged. But stadiums don't work like that. There's no moderator, no earpiece, no planted applause, just thousands of voices calling it exactly how they see it. And here's the uncomfortable truth. This won't be the last time. That chant has momentum. It's not fading. It'll creep into live debates, disrupt campaign events, hijack interviews, echo through speeches. Because it's no longer just a chant, it's a signal. A warning that people aren't waiting to be spoken for anymore. They're speaking up, loudly, publicly, and without apology. Starmer may be rehearsed, but what's coming next? That's completely unscripted. This chant didn't just cross a line, it redrew it. Most political moments never become cultural currency. You won't find them in official speeches or party manifestos, but you will see them scrawled on pub walls, whispered in WhatsApp groups, and echoed at concerts. This chant is becoming all of that. A shorthand, a rallying cry, a meme with bite. A middle finger to everything, sanitised, scripted and soulless in today's politics. Just like "Let's Go Brandon" became a coded rebellion in the US, this chant is fast becoming Britain's own unofficial protest slogan. Crude, yes. But behind the word is a message that couldn't be clearer. People are done with plastic leadership. They don't want photo ops, they want passion. They're not asking for polished slogans. They want someone who bleeds when the country suffers. Someone who looks like they've spent more time queuing at Greggs than sitting in glass-walled boardrooms. And right now, the distance between Starmer and the people he claims to represent feels too great to bridge. The chant may be vulgar, but it's also alive. It's how a bruised public finds its voice in a country where no one in charge seems to be listening. This isn't rebellion for rebellion's sake. It's not a coordinated attack by political opponents. It's something deeper. This is the sound of national exhaustion. Years of economic decay, broken promises, and leaders treating politics like a branding exercise have left people drained. They've watched the cost of living climb while wages stay stuck. Public services crumble while taxes rise. And through it all, party leaders keep smiling while nothing changes. So people stopped waiting. The chant wasn't crafted. It wasn't planned. It erupted. An instinctive release from a country that's been biting its tongue for far too long. It's what people yell when they've reached their breaking point, when they feel invisible, mocked, and taken for granted. It's not polite, because nothing about the past few years has been polite. And Starmer's response? Denial, deflection, business as usual. But the public isn't waiting for permission anymore. The respect they once had for politicians like him has vanished. What's left is mockery, and that's something no speech can fix.